This podcast is an invitation to feel and experience the souls of famous old Hollywood homes and to have an in-depth journey to the areas where they're located through interviews with longtime residents. Either you're a fan of old Hollywood in Los Angeles, planning to have a vacation, or, an even bigger step, considering a certain area for your future home. This is your opportunity to receive valuable information and insightful advice you won't find anywhere else.
Hello, and welcome to my podcast. Are you in the mood for California? Today we'll explore and feel Alhambra, followed by an interview with incomparable Yolanda Gonzalez, who will share with us what Alhambra is all about.
I like Alhambra because it seems as though it's a very mom and pop neighborhood to me. I have the restaurants and I know the people in the restaurants, and I just find it just seems very hometown to me. And it's a great space. I swim up the street at the pool, and I feel safe here. I feel at home here.
Masha Korpacheva is a California-based realtor and a member of the National Association of Realtors in Los Angeles. She's an advocate for selling and buying homes with soul and practicing mindfulness in real estate. With master's degrees in spiritual psychology and linguistics, Masha brings all of her skills to work with her clients. An intuit and empath, she has touched many lives with her outstanding ability to see beyond the visible and helping to come to better understanding of issues and their resolutions. An adventurous world traveler, from climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania to exploring the Galapagos Islands, Masha has a particular passion for the City of Angels. Having landed in this paradise and adopted it as her home, she's been sharing old Hollywood stories since 2007. In the mood for California, feel the soul of old Hollywood.
And now, are you ready to feel the soul of Alhambra? Long ago, in a land rich with history and tales of old, there existed a place called Alhambra. Its roots stretched back to the San Gabriel mission, a symbol of faith and community, founded on a memorable September day in 1771. But before the Spanish arrived, the land was home to the Tongva people, who lived harmoniously with nature, their spirits deeply intertwined with the earth. The Spanish crown bestowed Manuel Nieto with a vast land grant encompassing 300,000 acres, and within that expanse lay the future Alhambra. As the tides of destiny shifted, Mexico gained its independence from Spain in 1820, and the once Spanish-ruled territories became part of the Mexican Republic. But fate had another plan in store. The United States emerged triumphant from the Mexican-American War, claiming the land as its own. It was during this transformative time that a man named Benjamin Davis Wilson, a prosperous developer, found love in the arms of Ramona Yorba, daughter of Bernardo Yorba. The Yorba family held the very land that would soon blossom into Alhambra. In a beautiful twist of fate, Ruth, the daughter of Benjamin and Ramona, had a special place in her heart for literature. Inspired by a book she cherished, Washington Irving's Tales of the Alhambra, she convinced her father to name the land after its enchanting stories. Little did they know that the Alhambra Palace in far-off Granada, Spain, had ignited Irving's imagination, just as their own Alhambra would ignite the dreams of generations to come. Alhambra, born as a suburb of the bustling city of Los Angeles, stood as an unincorporated gem throughout the mid-19th century. Its first educational beacon was the Ramona Convent Secondary School, perched on a hillside, generously donated by the esteemed Shorp family. 13 years before the city's official incorporation, several visionary families in the San Gabriel Valley sought a Catholic education for their daughters, and thus the school came to life in 1890. The spirit of education thrived in Alhambra, and in 1898, the city's first public high school, Alhambra High School, opened its doors, proudly paving the way for the bright minds of the future. Finally, on a memorable summer day in 1903, the city of Alhambra was officially born, embraced by its residents with open arms. The homes that graced Alhambra's streets held tales of their own, each with a unique history and significance. Craftsmen, bungalow, Spanish Mediterranean, and other architectural styles adorned the city, breathing life into its charming neighborhoods. Throughout the years, the city designated 26 single-family residential areas as historic treasures, where the stories of the past danced on the very foundations they were built upon. Amidst the ever-changing landscape, one historic treasure stood as a testament to the city's captivating past: the Garfield Theater, nestled at the crossroads of Valley Boulevard and Garfield Avenue, had once welcomed vaudeville performers, even hosting the Gum Sisters, whose youngest member would someday enchant the world as Judy Garland. Though time had taken its toll, the theater's spirit endured, transforming into a vibrant commercial center. Yet, even in a place steeped in beauty and wonder, darkness can find its way. In 2003, tragedy cast its shadow upon Alhambra when actress Lana Clarkson met her untimely end in the home of record producer Phil Spector. The very abode where this fateful event occurred was the Pyrenees Castle, Alhambra's most prominent and majestic residence. Hidden behind its regal gates, atop a private knoll that embraces the breathtaking beauty of the San Gabriel Valley, a labor of love, this architectural masterpiece was meticulously crafted in 1925 by Sylvester Dupuy, who sought to recreate the enchanting chateaus of his cherished memories from France. Embracing an expansive 2.5-acre estate, this was intended to be haven of tranquility, embraced by verdant gardens and lush trees. The castle's turrets, spires, and grand interiors with hand-painted murals and mirrored walls create a dramatic setting reminiscent of an Agatha Christie novel. Phil Spector, known for his wall of sound recording technique, had purchased the 9-bedroom, 10-bathroom estate in 1998 for $1.1 million, describing it as a beautiful and enchanting castle in a small town. A majestic driveway leading to a gracious motor court, adorned with a resplendent fountain, welcomes you into the heart of this extraordinary residence with tainted past. The grand foyer, a true work of art, beckons you to explore the two symmetrical wings that encompass the castle's elegance. Every step unveils a world of impeccable craftsmanship. Wood-paneled living and dining areas adorned with beamed ceilings. Crystal chandeliers bathing the rooms in a gentle, ethereal glow, illuminating the original inlaid hardwood flooring and intricate hand-painted stenciling that tell stories of distant lands. While the Pyrenees Castle holds such a dark place in Hollywood's history, it was last sold for $3.3 million in 2021 as part of the divorce settlement between Phil Spector and Rachel Short, his third wife, as he faced a sentence of 19 years to life. Earlier the same year, he died from COVID-19 complications. Leaving this chapter of sorrow behind, Alhambra, resilient and indomitable, continues to persevere, its spirit, nurtured by the collective dreams of its residents, carries the city forward, breathing life into every corner. And so, the story of Alhambra, with its roots entwined with the San Gabriel mission and the Tongva people, continues to unfold, its pages filled with hope and the timeless pursuit of dreams. And here we are. Welcome to Alhambra. I'm so happy to have incomparable Yolanda Gonzalez here with me. Yolanda was born into a family whose artistic heritage dates back to 1877. Her world is one of curiosity, demonstrating her love of people and their surroundings. Gonzalez's travels in different countries, the bonds forged with individuals in those places, and the resulting transformative experiences are reflected in her art and her life. She is known for her strong, bold brush strokes of color and texture, intent on evoking imagination and emotion. In working with private as well as public commissions, Yolanda finds joy in an experience to collaborate. Being inspired by the vision of beauty in our universe, Yolanda believes we are all inspired by the beauty that surrounds us. She strives to convey this beauty through art. González feels the process of creating, whether by herself or in a group of artists, is that of meditation, therefore adding a good energy into the universe. Yolanda has exhibited her art in Russia, Japan, Scotland, France, Spain, Italy, Africa, Alaska, and the US. Her museum exhibitions include Musée d'Aquitaine, San Diego Contemporary Museum, Armand Hammer Museum, Temporary Contemporary Museum, Japanese American National Museum, Chicago Museum, Santa Monica Museum, Laguna Museum, Diego Rivera Museum, Latina Museum, Corpus Christi Museum, Museum of Monterey, Snite Museum of Art, Museo Carrillo Gil. 2019 Vincent Price Museum. 2021 and 2023 Museum of Latin American Art. You can still visit and experience Yolanda's exhibition, Metamorphosis, the Evolution of Visions and Dreams, at the Museum of Latin American Art in Long Beach until July 30th, 2023. Please check out Yolanda's website, www.yolandagonzalez.com. You can also follow her on Instagram at Yolanda Gonzalez Art. And right now, Yolanda will share with us the vibe of Alhambra. Hello, Yolanda.
Hello, Maria. How are you? How lovely to see you.
Oh, lovely to see you as well. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
I was really, really looking forward to our interview. You are an incredible artist, and I cannot wait to speak to you about your art and your studio that is located in Alhambra.
Well, thank you. I was looking forward to it as well, and excited about the opportunity to talk about Alhambra and my works of art.
Wonderful. Well, let me ask you first, what inspired you to become an artist? And how did you get started in your career?
I think I come from a long line of artists. My great grandfather, we have beautiful sketches from 1877. And my grandmother, who I had the opportunity to paint with at the age of 8. And I think painting with her and seeing the process of creativity and creating a little painting opened the doors to art and to the process of creating art. So I think when I was 8, it just awakened that vision and that excitement about creativity. And then I had been going to school and working and trying to kind of find myself as an artist until a teacher at San Gabriel Mission High School, Dixie Cotant, sat down with me and started working with me. And then she entered me in a contest, and I won a contest for Pasadena Art Center.
Wow.
So I was, I think, a junior in high school going to Pasadena Art Center. And that was so exciting. When I walked through the doors of Art Center, I understood why and how I was different than my siblings.
Wow. And how old were you at that point?
I think I was about 17.
17.
Mhm.
Okay. From the dream that came to you when you were 8 to 17 when you already won an award. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What a blessing it is to know what you want to be doing so early on in life.
It was a blessing, and it was a blessing that the teacher saw my potential, and that she really was a major force in my works of art. So it was lovely because she came to my exhibition at MOLA, and I personally thanked her, the opening reception, for giving me the opportunity and for believing in me. So it was lovely to be able to kind of come full circle and thank her publicly at my opening at the Museum of Latin American Art.
Wow. Beautiful. Well, we need more teachers like that.
Absolutely. Yes. So important.
For
Yes.
sure. Yes. So, Yolanda, you have a very unique artistic style. How would you describe it, and what themes or subjects do you explore in your work?
I would describe my works of art as figurative expressionistic. They have been called, the Sueño series has been called surreal. The Metamorphosis series has been called abstract. So I think the different series, I mean, I've been creating works of art for 40 years now. So the different series that I've created it's kind of they've evolved through the years. And of course, like my great grandfather and my grandmother, I do create portraits. And then I have the other series that I do, and the other mediums, printmaking, as well as ceramics and watercolors.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
So did you come up with your style right away, or did it take some time?
That's a really great question, Maria, because I've just created. I don't think I've really ever focused on my style. I've just focused on the pure process of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And being honest with my work and just creating. And I do consider the process of creating art a relationship.
Yes.
And so it's a dialogue between the medium and myself, back and forth and back and forth. And so I think through the years, the creative process and myself have built a very lovely relationship.
Sounds like it. And you know what? I always think when artists let themselves being fully seen who they are on the inside,
Mm-hmm.
that's when they really truly have their genuine style.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, you just continue to express yourself, and then all of a sudden you show something that is on the inside, and it's almost as if like God is using, your hand to show what's inside of you.
Absolutely.
And you
Absolutely.
have the courage to show it.
Absolutely. And I believe that art is, and the creative process is, a healing force, a meditation, a prayer that we need very much so in this universe. And I'm honored and very thankful that I have the opportunity to be that spokeswoman for art and for the female form and for my culture, for being a Chicana, for humanity.
Yes.
It's very important, and I take it very seriously.
I see that. That is very clear. And also giving others the courage to express themselves.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, Maria, it's an expression in many forms. It could be in talking, in communication with a friend or a partner, but just mainly being true to yourself.
100%. Mm-hmm. Very, very true. Well, my next question to you is about the area where you work. And you mentioned to me you've been here for 15 years. So how has working in Alhambra and spending here so much time influenced your art?
Well, I actually started to have a studio in Alhambra probably about 18 years ago. And I was in a building called the Alhambra, and that was a very large warehouse. And that was housed for me through the Rakovich company. And I stayed there, and then they were rebuilding the area, so they a 24-hour fitness, I think. And I left, and then I had a very small space storefront on Valley Boulevard, and that was, I think, I went from 12,000 square feet to 1,000 square feet, which was always very exciting to me, right? To find that, to work in the space, the universe kind of sends you here and there, and so I thought, okay, this is a small space I have. And then artist Howard Swirloff told me about this space, and this is owned by Kaplan Construction. And the owner, Jerry Kaplan, and his son, Andy, have been very dear to me. And so I started in the space. And then the neighbor actually came over once and said that he told me he was going to move away. And so then I got the space next door for my ceramics. And I'm already thinking I need a third space to create.
You're expanding.
I'm expanding. And next door, I have in the ceramic space, a dear friend, Edward Escamilla. He's been a friend of mine since I got in the early 80s, and he creates ceramics. So he is with me in the ceramic studio. So, and then my dear friend, Diane Darling, who's been my friend since we were 4, we used to play Barbies together, creates ceramics. And so they rent the ceramic space with me as well. So it's not that difficult to run both spaces because I have them as business partners in the ceramic space, which is, of course, helpful. Very much so, yes.
Yes. So why Alhambra? How did you end up in this quaint city?
I think from the early 90s, I've been here living at different times in Alhambra and then having a studio space here. I like Alhambra because it seems as though it's a very mom and pop neighborhood to me. I have the restaurants, and I know the people in the restaurants, and I just find it just seems very hometown to me. And it's a great space. I swim up the street at the pool, and I feel safe here. I feel at home here. And, I can get on the 10 freeway, and I'm in West LA, after a while, and after a little bit of a ride, and then I can go north, and then I'm in, South Pass or Pasadena.
Very close.
So it's a great space. Yes. Great area.
Okay. I'm glad that you found this new studio for yourself already a while ago, and that you have the ability to expand here and add more spaces, and that you feel safe here to express yourself. That is so important.
Yes.
For anybody, and particularly for an artist.
Yes. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. So could you please describe to us your studio space and what actual role it plays in your creative process?
Well, I've always been very lucky with studio spaces. I've always felt that there were spaces that I needed at that particular time. And the studio space, as you can see, houses a lot of art. And so I will set it up for a show. We just had a lovely event on Friday with a jarocho band called Son de Madera and the son of Quetzal Music, Quetzal Flores and Marta González, and their son Sandino had his senior recital here. And Quetzal is a Grammy-winning band. And so it's an honor to have them here. They had some family, and I brought some of my artist friends, and it was magical. Sandina was playing, my grandmother, she left me her piano, was playing her grand piano. And it's just beautiful to be able to house not only my creativity, but the creativity of others. And I find it to be a home for me here. And I feel very comfortable, and I feel it's just a place that allows me to create, and has large roll-up doors. So when I finish a large sculpture, then out it goes the roll-up doors or a large painting. So it serves me on very different levels. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. From what I have perceived is that you live, create, and love large in a way.
Absolutely.
And therefore you need this large space, but also with your grandmother's piano and then her portrait, your mother's portrait as well. So you have all this memorabilia, that connects you to your ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what probably makes this space for you so special and so warm, and that you support yourself in your own creativity expression, and then you also support other artists, something that not that many people can do, but artists are the people who probably need the most support.
Mm-hmm. I think it's important. And I think mentioning my ancestors, I feel them with me often. And I hope I make them proud. I really want to continue the legacy that they started. And, I honor them. As my mom says, her side of the family had musicians, and she grew up with music and art. And it wasn't until we started to get the show together for the Vincent Price Museum, the Sueño de la Familia, that I really realized how important the family of creatives were. I always just created art. And then in seeing that show and the catalog and the beautiful curating that Pilar Tompkins Rivas did, I saw my responsibility being connected to the Lopez González family.
Yes, it's a big responsibility. And you are doing an amazing job.
Thank you very much.
Continuing, in the steps of your familial creativity.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you, dear. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay, my next question. Well, you have been on Alhambra for quite some time and lived and worked here. Do you think that there is something in this city that makes it a unique place for artists to live and work?
Well, I know there's other artists here. I'm trying to get more artists in this Palm Mission, this industrial park. And my goal is to have artists studios in all of the studios so that we can have a great space here with a lot of artists. But I know Norman Rockwell lived in Alhambra and created in Alhambra. So if Norman Rockwell worked and created in Alhambra, then I think Yolanda Gonzalez could create in Alhambra. There must be something here, like the energy.
He invited you to Alhambra.
I think so, yes.
Like, you can create here too.
I think so, yes.
Very interesting. Oh, I love this. I love parallels like that.
Thank you.
And then some artists in the future will say, like, Yolanda Gonzalez was creating in Alhambra, so why cannot I?
Absolutely. Oh, yes, in years to come. 100 years from now, yes.
Maybe sooner, you never know.
I hope so, yeah.
So my next question to you is, what has been your favorite project or exhibit that you have worked on in Alhambra, and why?
Well, I think there have been so many. I think the last week we had two major events. One I spoke about with Sandino and the son of Martha and Quetzal. From Quetzal Music, the band. And the other one, it was during the pandemic, I started to create a live drawing via Zoom from artists, from models. And one of the models that I found was Emily Metalskin in North Carolina. And so Mola flew Emily in because I have a lot of sketches of her in the museum. So we had a talk and we had a drawing session at MOLA. And then we also had a talk here that was joined by Ultimate and the CEO of Ultimate, Castelo de la Rocha, and his wife, Zoila Escobar, and Susana Bautista Smith, who's the curator, and then Dr. Tina Nevares, and then Emily Metalskin, the model. And what we were talking about the artist and her muse, and we were also talking about the beauty and the acceptance of the female form and also women's health. Mm-hmm. And so I think they want to create we were in dialogue about a project that will have the creative and the medical that is in collaboration. So I'm excited about that, having them here and having a group of about 40 people and speaking about the artist and the muse and the doctor and the patient as a muse and the female form. And so that was very exciting. And I think, each project that comes through here, they're getting really exciting. And the participation of the community, was wonderful. It was wonderful. So those two events, I think it was the last week, were actually wonderful. Yes. Oh, very exciting.
Very, very exciting. So happy for you, Yolanda.
Thank you.
It sounds like a lot of wonderful things are happening for you here in Alhambra.
Yes, yes, they are.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Maria.
So my next question to you is, how do you hope your art will impact viewers and the community?
I hope my art will impact the community and viewers to be more creative, to be more self-acceptant of themselves, to live in the moment, to appreciate where we are. I think especially right now, coming out of a pandemic, and there are so many changes and trials that people went through that I think as a collective, if we could all be supportive of each other and loving of each other and kind to each other. And the way I can do that is through my art and encouraging and inspiring people to express themselves in whatever manner helps them to feel happy and comfortable and healed.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing this. This is so wonderful.
Absolutely. Thank you for giving me the platform.
No, of course, of course. It takes two to tango always.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Who's tipping who? I'll tip you.
Okay, and one more question to you before I ask you some blitz questions about your favorite places in Alhambra. So what advice do you have for aspiring artists looking to establish themselves in Alhambra or maybe in other cities? So what would be your advice?
I think for me, it's just to continue to create. I believe I always loved it. I have a one-woman exhibition in a museum right now, and I'm still excited about learning about new mediums and learning about techniques, seeing what people are creating, seeing the different generations. So I watch a lot of what is happening in the art scene, and I'm very excited about people and what they're creating and how it's evolving, all the mixed media works that are happening. And so I watched one young lady, and I think her Instagram she's Coral, and she's absolutely lovely. And she was knitting or crocheting, and then now she's doing ceramics, but then I think she's also adding some of that to her ceramics. And I think that's just so exciting. Yeah. And so I think it's finding your medium, finding what inspires you. And that for me is the most important, is what makes your heart, beat, faster and stronger, and what feeds your soul is what is really important.
Right. Mm-hmm. Because what feeds your soul and what you do with passion, once you do it, you inspire others to do the same.
Exactly. Yes. Very important.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And before we finish our wonderful conversation, I have a few blitz questions to you. If you have maybe your favorite places in Alhambra, what would be your favorite restaurant here?
Okay. Let me see. Alhambra. Well, you know what? I just went to a mom and pop diner for breakfast, and it's called Bun and Burger, and it's on Main Street. And I would say right now that's that's my favorite. They survived through the pandemic,
That's a big
and
deal.
it's family owned, and I was shocked at how reasonable the bill was. So I think we can continue to support mom and pop spaces like that. Of course, at Tepeyac, in the same complex I'm at, they're delicious, and they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I think those are the two places I could remember. There's also a place, God, what is it called? It was Dim Sum on May Street. I'll get you the name of that. That was very delicious.
Okay.
But I think those are the places
So those are your favorite
Yes.
restaurants?
Sometimes I go to Pasadena or South Pass.
Yeah, because it's so close.
Yes. So it's great.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any favorite store here?
That's a good question. A favorite store here, I can't think of any. Since the pandemic, I did a lot of online.
Right.
So I haven't really. There's one place that I'm very excited about. It's called Nucleus Gallery, and that is on Main Street. And they have great books, and then they do have life drawing as well. I want to say either it's Tuesdays or Thursdays. They're a wonderful space. Yeah, they have lots of great art books, and great art, and great space. So I definitely would give them a shout out, as they say.
Nucleus. Okay.
Nucleus, yes.
Well, no wonder you love this store because it's so creative.
It is. We need an art store here in Alhambra. Definitely.
Every city needs an art store.
Right? Yes.
For sure. Well, Yolanda, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to talk with you about your art, your creativity, and your studio space in this quaint little city of Alhambra, where you feel safe and warm and where you have your own community. And I hope you will continue to create your art here for many, many more years to come.
Thank you very much. You're always welcome here. And thank you for, again, giving me the platform to discuss the creative process. I really appreciate it. And congratulations to you on your podcast.
Thank you so much, Yolanda. Well, it exists because of the people like you.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you, Yolanda. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for tuning in to experience and explore Alhambra with my special guest, Yolanda Gonzalez. If you enjoy my podcast In the Mood for California, please sign up for future episodes at your preferred platform and please leave your feedback. I really appreciate your time and support. You can follow me on Instagram at In the Mood for California and check out my website, www.inthemoodforcalifornia.com. Selling and buying homes with soul is not just my real estate strategy. It is an intuitive and holistic approach that embraces your values, aspirations, and conscious intentions. If you want to discover the power of mindfulness in your real estate journey with my compassionate guidance, I'm here for you. Next time, we'll travel to the Bay Area, to the majestic Marin County. Looking forward to seeing you there.
In the Mood for California. Feel the soul of Old Hollywood.